You're not even going to lead with an apology?
What did I do?
What have you done?
Yeah,
what are
yeah,
you
yeah.
crawling back today to beg my forgiveness for? You know exactly what you did. And if you don't know, you should preemptively apologize for unspecified future and past indiscretions. Your
What did I
hands are
do?
completely dirty. What have you done to me? Look at it the other side. What have you done positive for me lately?
For you?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we've always been very supportive of you.
No. You, Portnoy has been very supportive. I want to know what you have done for me lately. Because if you didn't do something for me, I might as well just consider that like you did something against me, of which I'm giving you a chance to apologize.
No. We over at Spinning Backfist Barstool, we're very supportive of Chael Sonnen, and we always have been.
Oh, all right. We can continue.
Yeah, so
By the way, what are you doing different? Did you get a shave or a haircut? There's something different about your presentation. You look very handsome, but there's something different.
I think you may there's multiple people on the show. Do you remember Robbie? You may be thinking
of course
Robbie.
I know Robbie, but I know you. Robbie's actually been nice to me. It's you that owes me an apology.
Well, I've always been nice to you. There's somebody in this office outside of, there's one other guy here that would be more Chael Sonnen than me. I watch every single video of yours that you post on your personal channel.
No way.
Yes, I do. You can, if I'll pull up my subscribe.
All right. I take it all back.
Okay, that's fair. All right, I think we lost him. You there?
No. I'm here. Yeah, I'm looking right at you.
No, but you went off of Wi-Fi for a second. I can't
Oh no, I'll stand still. I won't budge. Do you have me now?
No. You can budge. It was just like you cut out for a second, but it's cool. We'll just hop into it. Hope you guys enjoyed the start of this interview where me and Chael were kind of going back and forth. But before we continue, I hope you guys enjoyed the beginning of this interview where Chael and I were going back and forth. But before we continue, I want to tell you about Game Time. That is correct. We love getting out to live events, whether it's a concert, a football game, or a comedy show, and we always use Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You know how much we love Game Time. Now, with their brand new Game Time Picks feature, they're making it even easier to get to a game. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I am looking at the Boston Celtics at New York Knicks game right now, this Saturday at Madison Square Garden. And right now, you could get a super deal to sit in the first bowl at MSG for $765. Top 1% of value. What are you waiting for? I am going to go consider buying those tickets for the Celtics at Knicks game. And I'll be watching the prelims for UFC 312 on my phone. Make sure you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BACKFIST for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BACKFIST for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. We're here with Chael Sonnen, a phenomenal guest, second time that he's been on the Spinning Backfist show. Thank you for spending time with us. We are going into UFC 312 this weekend at Sean Strickland, Dricus Duplessis. How do you see Sean Strickland? How can he take advantage of this moment? Or is this a bigger moment for Dricus's career? Because
I have never seen somebody, and let me give a full disclosure to you. I was teammates and training partners with Sean Strickland. I will be biased towards Sean Strickland. But to get that out of the way, just to kind of speak to what I see too, I have never seen a guy want a belt back more. I have never seen a guy who was working harder to get a belt back than he ever did on the days that he was climbing to a championship. I have never seen a guy train harder and more disciplined and more prepared for number one contenders matches than he did for his own world title match. And Sean Strickland's very interesting psychologically because he really did not care about the belt. Now, that's just something you say. But for the most part, he really didn't care about the belt. He never talked about, brought the belt, carried the belt around. He wanted to fight certain guys, and if a championship came with that, a championship came with that. That's true until he lost it. Mm-hmm. And there was a new guy. I had no idea. I couldn't believe, and I'm talking about privately, off camera, what this meant, the depression that the dude couldn't eat, dude couldn't sleep. He wanted that belt back more than he ever wanted to win it in the first place or protect it. And I can't fully tell you why. The best I can deduce, even speaking to him privately, is because he feel they wronged him. He felt he was first off supposed to fight Chimaev. He does a favor by fighting Dricus du Plessis. They went out to Canada, which he didn't want to fight in the first place. And then most importantly, he won. Now, this is his contention. He thought he won that fight. And there was one licensed judge that agreed with him. I mean, it gave him a split decision. But it upset him in ways, and it motivated him in ways. Like, Dricus is awesome. But please hear me when I tell you, what Dricus believes he's getting into, the person who he believes he's fighting because he already fought him once, that's not the same guy that's showing up for this match.
Now, if that is a great synopsis of Sean Strickland and even the information you're giving us here about behind the scenes of, obviously, we knew how much it affected him, but do you think Sean Strickland did enough to get this opportunity back? Obviously, it was a close fight. I scored it for Sean, but I'm not a licensed judge. I'm not at the head of the UFC. The Paulo Costa fight was, I was there. It was, I'm a fan of Paulo Costa. He's a great fighter, but it wasn't exactly the greatest fight that anyone's ever seen.
Sure. Yeah, well, it's interesting that you say that because it was so nerve-wracking watching that fight. I mean, the way that those guys played that game of standing up. I mean, they called Paulo Costa the Terminator. Like, he didn't nickname himself that. The industry he actually nicknamed himself the Eraser. The industry renamed him the Terminator because he is so frightening. Strickland stands up with him the whole time. And Strickland fights him like he's angry at him. Like he fought him like he had aggrieved him or had aggrieved his family. I mean, he fought him mean. He did not just go find him from athletics. It was mean. He was kicking him, trying to hurt. He was punching him. He'd already ran away on the numbers. That fight had been locked up 10 minutes before they called it. He wins those next 10 minutes too. Like there was this anger, and all he could see was Dricus. All he could see was those judges. All he could see was getting that title shot back. I mean, we went about how scary Chimaev is and that Dana can't find a fight for him. There's a lot of truth to that, but Sean Strickland would have fought him in a moment's notice if it got him closer to that title shot. There is something about that belt. There is something about whatever he had, whatever he tasted, whatever it was, it turned out he really liked it, and he wants it back. And I think that Dricus is another one of these guys that with a little success probably gets better. I think Dricus looked better in his Izzy fight than he ever had. Like, I expect a better Dricus. I can just promise you a better Strickland.
One more ad, then we'll get back to the interview. DraftKings. We love DraftKings. We love using DraftKings to bet on UFC and other sports. This ain't the little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is Super Bowl LIX. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I believe that is 59, right? Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. I was correct. Scoring touchdowns is key to hosting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can get $5 or can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BACKFIST. That's code BACKFIST for new customers to get your $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. I will be using it this weekend for UFC 312 and the Super Bowl, of course. Now back to Chael. Izzy and Whitaker recently sat down together and discussed fighting Dricus, and they said he's the greatest shit fighter of all time. How do you look at a style like Dricus's? How would you even game plan for that? I mean, the guy is just, you see clips on Twitter, but he's obviously an elite grappler, an elite striker, but he looks funny while doing it. What is it about it? Or is it just he's truly one of one?
Yeah, and then he's got the cardio, right? The greatest weapon you can have, it's very hard for the audience to ever see it, but it's just your ability to push the pace, and Dricus has it all. Look, I don't know a lot about this guy. Let me give you an example. I was told he was a member of the South African national team for Greco-Roman wrestling. I looked into that, and I can't find. There's some people that say they've never seen him at a wrestling tournament. The internet says he had a spot in the squad and even helped with the Olympic process. So then when I dig into him, he represents himself as a kickboxer. But Adesanya met him many years ago in Thailand at a jiu-jitsu workout. So like to completely find out where this guy came from. Ilia Topuria is very similar to this, where you watch him and go, damn, there's something special. How did we get here? But getting the details of Ilia's past, it's very murky. And getting the details of Dricus's past has been very, very murky. There are coaches for South Africa that say he was a member of that national team, but there is no video anywhere of him in a wrestling match or even in a wrestling singlet. It's a very complicated thing. And I think he's got his secrets. I think he feels that he has found a certain formula. The first thing he's going to do to protect that is not tell anybody what it is.
And speaking of formulas, we have recently seen, there's a tweet that kind of went viral that I saw in the MMA community. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but we saw at UFC 311, Merab figured out the Dagestani. And then we also saw Clayton Carpenter against Tagir. And although Tagir won that fight, and it was he fought well, Clayton Carpenter kind of handled him pretty well. And then this past weekend at PFL, Paul Hughes gave Usman kind of, or definitely his toughest fight yet. Has the Dagestani style been figured out? Or is this just kind of a 3-fight stretch or is the Dagestani style as a fan, not a participator in the sport, just kind of overblown for fans like myself?
There's nobody that was wrong about that. But generally when you can crack a code, in the beginning of mixed martial arts, go all the way back to 1993, but how do you beat up a kickboxer? You grab a hold of him. How do you beat up a boxer? Take him to the ground. Now, those things might sound obvious, but we did not know those. Believe it or not, I, as a wrestler, had no idea that I was like a threatening guy or that I possessed a skill set. I didn't find myself to be the toughest guy in the hallways at school, and I'd be the only wrestler. We really didn't know grabbing somebody and taking them down limits them. And the reason I say that is it's not wrong about the Dagestani style. They're very ingrained in grappling. And if you can defend the takedowns and hold up to the pace, you're going to shut that style down. But to be able to stop the takedown, right, the Caucasus regions of Russia, it's the greatest wrestlers on earth. Every 4 years we have the Olympic Games, and every 4 years they dominate them. And they dominate them with athletes from this very area. And then when you talk about cardio, it's an easy thing to say, I'm going to get in shape, but it's not just discipline and hard work. There's a lot of things culturally that goes into that. There's a lot of elevation. Where did you come from just naturally? What foods did you eat growing up? What is your VO2 max? Some of it is not just toughness and hard work. There is a science factor to it. So while I agree, yeah, if you can stop a takedown and hold the conditioning, you're going to do well with the Dagestanis. While I agree with that, finding a man that can go out and do that is going to be just as difficult as it's always been.
And let's say you had somebody that, not even your son, but let's say there was not even an emotional connection, but you wanted to create the next great MMA superstar. How would you go about training? What would you focus on? Let's say we're starting him at 8 years old or 5 years old, 5 to 8. Would you send him to Dagestan for 2 to 3 years, call once every 6 months, like Islam says, or is there a different style?
I ask myself that question every day. 1, just because I'm interested in it. 2, it's the field that I'm in. But 3, I have a son.
Yep.
And my son is asking me these things. And he has not come out and told me yet that he wants to be world or Olympic champion. But he's going in that direction. He is very driven. And he is starting to turn to me for advice. And so I spent a lot of time trying to figure that out. One of the best recipes that I would do, what we used to do back in the day, and we've been greatly surpassed skill-wise. I'm well aware that the sport has moved fast, but some of the best guys that I saw, the Randy Couture's, the Dan Hendersons, the Matt Lindlands, who actually had a style that would still hold up today, they would train wrestling because that was a cardio base. They would train wrestling, but at the end of, say they did a 2-hour wrestling workout, at the end of it, they would then have a boxing coach come in and they would work the mitts, they would work the bag, they would work those positions, work that conditioning. As the fight got closer, we would actually spar. But all the rest of the days, it was wrestle, grappling, jiu-jitsu. And then you finish up with a little bit of striking. And I feel like that is still an incredible recipe. The secret is you could do it either way. If you put 2 hours into a kickboxing workout, but then you grab 20 minutes at the end, every day you grabbed a wrestler. Over time, you're going to have a pretty great skill set. But one thing about this sport is that it is absolutely complete. Even the guys that you see dominate, use Islam, for example, takes everybody down and controls them. Use Piera, for example, keeps everybody standing up and controls them. The one secret about those guys is they have the other skill set. They have it, and that's why they're so comfortable going out and trying to implement what they prefer to do. But a mixture of both is great. But I'm telling you those times because you don't need an hour of grappling than an hour of striking. You need one of them to be absolutely dominant, but then have the other one as well. Put that in your back pocket just in case.
And lastly, I know you're just saying you're in this industry. Of course, we all know that. But have you considered maybe they're opening the White House press credentials to different influencers, social media, whatnot? Have you considered applying to that, or did you apply?
Yeah, I did not apply, and I want to say that was 2 or 3 days ago when they did that. And then, to my understanding, they haven't actually given those out yet. So we don't actually know. Like, did the Theo Vaughn or Jake Paul get access? We don't actually know. But yes, I have thought about that, and I thought that was pretty cool. One thing about if you're going to do White House press corps, it's not a matter of you can get a license and show up when you feel like it. You are then expected to be there on a regular basis, which in large part means every single day on the outside chance that the president has something he's going to want to say. That would be a little bit tough of a gig for me. I love Westland, Oregon. I'm not leaving Westland, Oregon for anything. When I become governor of the state of Oregon, the first thing I'm doing is taking that dump of a mansion. They put the governor in Salem, and I'm moving the capital to West Lynn. So to see me in D.C., is unlikely, but I do support the concept. I mean, these new things like you and I are doing are what people are turning to for most of their media source. And I think when you asked me that, you were trying to be funny, but there's a real serious side to
No.
There are some people out there, that are considered fringe that give you accurate information that's straightforward because they don't have a sponsor. They don't have an agenda. They don't have somebody they're answering to. They turn their phone on and they go. And at a minimum, it needs to be sincere from the author that says it. And that's not something we get everywhere. A lot of people are handed a script, put on a nice shirt, they do their thing, they get up and go home. I do find the guys at the fringe, the media, these podcasters that are now being welcomed in, I do find them to be more sincere.
Yeah, no, I was asking truly. I think I agree almost 100% with what you just said. I'm going to trust you with the phone much more than I'm going to trust, if I turn on CNN right now or MSNBC or even Fox News. So I completely agree. I think it's great. But when's that governor or gubernatorial campaign going to start?
There is 446 days till you must file for the primary.
Okay.
So, there's a minute here. There's a minute here to kind of catch your breath. But it would be very wise if you believe the prediction that somewhere in the next 446 days, you were going to have Governor Sonnen.
Okay. We will be, I know we started this with a little bit of a combative, which is great, but we will be supporting that campaign. At least I will be. I have to talk with my other co-hosts, but I will be, at least personally, putting my support behind that campaign. We're on the opposite side of the country, but thank you very much, Chael.
You want to know a ticket? Do you want to know a ticket, a very hard ticket to beat?
Tell me.
Donald Trump Jr., Dave Portnoy.
I know. But
that is a presidential ticket that thing would stick. Oh my goodness. I'm actually supporting it. I'm kind of trying to get this rumor going around, but I do feel that Portnoy is needed. He is necessary. You want to talk about getting the truth? I think Portnoy, Don Trump Jr., I want them to do it. That's a fantasy ticket someday. But if they did it, that would win.
That would be a phenomenal ticket. I don't think Dave would want to do it, just knowing him a little bit. But the blow up between a Don Jr. and Dave at the end would be a phenomenal content. Because I don't know if they would, those two brains in the same Oval Office for 4 years, 6 years would be a lot. But I would be behind that ticket as well.
Could you imagine a debate? Can you imagine somebody getting on stage and trying to convince Dave Portnoy why he's wrong? Can you imagine how they would bring things out to try to embarrass him that would not embarrass him? Could you just imagine debating Portnoy? Think of your best senators. Think of your best governors right now, either party. And then picture them in suits arguing with Dave. And you tell me the audience doesn't side with Dave, you're lying.
Gavin Newsom against Dave Portnoy would be.
Yes. Hey, and Newsom is one of the best politicians, not only right now, he's one of the best politicians I have ever seen. That young man was raised to be king, and he is well on his way. He doesn't want to go fisticuffs with a microphone with Portnoy. I stand by that.
That would be a fantasy booking and a half. All right, Chael.
Pay-per-view.
Thank you.
It'd be the first presidential debate that we could sell on pay-per-view. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you've been trying to get rid of me. Fine. You know what? I've had it.
No,
Goodbye.
they give us
Goodbye
time limits,
everybody.
and then they text us, and they're like,
"Gotta
wrap up."
I'm trying to hang up on you now. I just don't know what button.
No, they said they give us time. It's like, gotta wrap up. Time to wrap up. All right. Chael just hung up on me, but thank you for watching, everybody. That was phenomenal. We please subscribe if you like that interview, and we will talk to you soon.